Here.
Councilmember Woodward.
Here.
Councilmember Brenner.
Here.
Councilmember Jenks.
Here.
Councilmember Bennett. Here. Councilmember Durr.
Here.
And Council President Hall.
Here. There was an executive session before this evening's meeting to discuss real estate and personnel matters. First item of business on our agenda this evening is public comment. And I'd like to inform anybody that's in the audience that is not aware of it that these matters during this first public comment have to do with items that are on the agenda for this evening's meeting. There is a meeting, at the end of the meeting, there is also time for public comment on other items of interest that concern residents of the borough other than agenda items. Does anybody have any comment?
Just a short one regarding the ordinance that you're planning to approve. I think that the distance that you allow for the trash cans to be in the street, I think is way too big. If I'm correct, you're allowing 24 hours ahead and after the pickup. I think it could be easily be brought down to 6 p.m. and if somebody really needs, I'm sure the borough would understand. So 6 p.m.
You mean time frame, not distance.
I'm sorry, time frame, okay? The span, is that good? Span of time. So, yes, I think it's really unnecessary to allow it from 12 o'clock the day before the pickup. I don't think, who does that? I understand people work their shifts and everything, but like I said, I think it can be easily, people would have understanding if there is a real need. But to make this span so much, span of time, I think it's completely unnecessary. People will just leave cans in the street, storm, rain, we're gonna have to deal with cans flying all over the place. So, that's my 2 cents. Thank you.
Thank you. Anyone else? Okay. First item of business is the approval of the council minutes from August the 10th. Are there any additions or corrections to the minutes of the meeting? Second. All those in favor, please signify by saying aye.
Aye.
Ayes have it. Thank you. Consulting engineers, I'd like to have a motion to receive all the reports, committee reports.
Second.
Thank you. All those in favor, please signify by saying aye.
Aye.
Ayes have it. Consulting engineers report, Mr. McCarthy.
Good evening, everyone.
Good evening, Jim.
I think pretty much everything in the report is self-explanatory. Just want to talk about unless you have a specific question for me on any topic, on here or not on here.
Hearing none. All those in favor of accepting the consulting engineers report, please signify by saying aye.
Aye.
Ayes have it. Thank you. Police chief and mayor's report. Mayor Levering, Chief Phillips.
I have nothing further to add this evening, but the chief will, of course, be glad to answer any of your questions after he highlights a few items.
Good evening, everyone. I know we have a lot to go over tonight, so I'll be very quick reviewing the report. If anybody has any questions, you can obviously ask. So we had 671 calls for service for the month. Just to highlight a couple things of interest, we're at 5.9 minutes with our average times to respond. Arrival location is 28 minutes on a call. Traffic information we received back from our counters on 4th Street with the now with it being open from Park Road North, 25-mile-an-hour speed limit. We have an 83 or 85% percentile of speed. Traveling north is 23.57 and south at 21.9. So we're good with the speeds so far going forward. I'm looking at putting some counters up on Timberline. We've gotten some complaints, and a person has requested a no outlet sign be placed up there. The one issue is we need a certain pole, and I talked to Jim Babb about it, and he tried to put one up there temporarily for us in a bucket, but the counter was too heavy for it, so they've got to drive it into the ground. And I guess they got to do a PA1 call for that. So for next month, I'm not sure that I'll have that information for you, because when that gets done, we get the counts in. I want to have a good count for that. I applied for it, we received a little over $8,000 for reimbursements for ballistic vests. I'm expecting that money to get here in 3 to 6 months. Something that we got at the beginning of the year was something that's called Crime Watch. It's a website that we now participate with that it deals with all of our social media platforms. We can just put it into one site and it puts it out on our Facebook or Twitter. We've been putting a lot of information out on that. We're feeling really comfortable and with its operation now. And we've been putting a lot of information out there. So I wanted to encourage people to go to that website. You can see a little bit more things there than on the borough's webpage. You can access it by going to the borough's webpage, to the police section. There's a tab on the right side that says Crime Watch, or you can just do a search for Crime Watch Wyomissing and it'll come up. We're putting a lot of information out on there. We're getting a lot of good response from people that are viewing it. Really, the other thing I just to take note of, our percentage rate for the month is still good. We're still at 73%. We're way above our averages in part 1 and part 2 for the nation. So our people are out, kicking tires and lighting fires. If anybody has any questions, I'm glad to answer.
Any questions for the chief? Okay, all those in favor of accepting the police chief and mayor's report, please signify by saying aye.
Aye.
Ayes have it. Fire commissioner's report, Mr. Jenks.
Okay, for the month of August, the Wyomissing Fire Department responded to 172 calls, of which 105 of those were within the borough, and we assisted 67 times outside. Fires in the borough resulting in $1,700 in damage. Just a quick breakdown, there were 21 actual fire calls, 64 EMS calls, and 64 automatic fire alarm activations. There were a total of 14 volunteers that responded, with total response year to date calls of 1,059. That's all.
Any questions on the fire commissioner's report? All those in favor of accepting that, please signify by saying aye. Ayes have it. We'll start into the committees. First one on the line is infrastructure.
Okay, excuse me, under streets, we'll need a motion to approve, approve or deny payment application number 1 in the amount of $136,151.25 that the committee is recommending to pay to H&K Group for the 2021 street improvements, and I'll make that motion.
Second.
Second.
There's a motion and a second. May I have a roll call, please, Melissa?
Councilmember Boucher?
Yes.
Councilmember Woodward?
Yes.
Councilmember Brunner?
Yes.
Councilmember Jenks?
Yes.
Councilmember Menon?
Yes.
Councilmember Durr?
Yes.
And Council President Long.
Yes.
Okay, the committee is also recommending the council improvement of payment application number 10 in the amount of $104,630.18 to Barwis Construction for the 4th Street project.
Bad.
And I will make that motion. I can't shut it off. Excuse me. I'll be back in a while.
Still come back again.
I need to do that again. All right, the committee is recommending the council to approve payment application number 10 in the amount of $104,630.18 to Barwis Construction for the 4th Street project, and I will make that motion.
We have a second.
Second.
We have a motion and a second. Can I have a roll call, please, Melissa?
Councilmember Boucher?
Yes.
Councilmember Woodward?
Yes.
Councilmember Brunner?
Yes.
Councilmember Jenks?
Yes.
Councilmember Menon?
Yes.
Councilmember Durr,
Yes.
and Council President Moll.
Yes.
Okay. On the next page, under the Huyett House lease, the committee is recommending that the lease be continued for another year at $1,600 a month, contingent upon the current tenant's desire to renew the lease and to authorize the borough manager to complete the lease. And I will make that motion.
Second. We have a motion and a second. All those in favor, please signify by saying aye.
Aye.
Ayes have it. Thank you.
Okay. And the next item is the motion needed to approve or deny rejecting a single bid for the library HVAC work submitted by Spots Brothers, Inc. in the amount of $62,700. The committee is recommending that be turned down, rejected, sorry. Okay, that's the first one. I'll make that motion,
We
sorry.
have a motion and
Second.
And we have a motion and a second. All those in favor, please signify by saying aye.
Aye.
Opposed? Ayes have it. Thank you.
Okay, and the second one had to do with the library, also the HVAC system. The committee is recommending the council to advertise the library HVAC, again, to renew, to be checked by the finance committee, and the finance and administration committee to the proposed budget increase from 30 to 45,000 for next year with completion to be completed by the spring of 2022. I'll make that motion.
Second?
Second.
We have a motion and a second. Is there any question on that motion? All those in favor, please signify by saying aye.
Aye.
Ayes have it.
Okay, and the other item, we need to amend the agenda here for that with a motion from the solicitor here to give us the word for that, authorizing that.
Okay. Is that on the,
It's not on here, we gotta amend it.
what's the top of the hearing?
That's the item where we're gonna support the zoning.
That's the zoning, okay.
Zoning.
All right, thank you. So the motion I would recommend is for council to authorize a notice of intervention to be filed with the Court of Common Pleas to intervene in the appeal of the zoning hearing board decision, which has been filed by Metropolitan Management. So the first motion would be to amend the agenda, the second one would be to approve the recommended motion.
So I'll make the motion to amend the agenda first.
Second.
All in favor, please signify. Do we have a second? Do we have a second?
Aye, and we're now public
Yeah, now we have to ask for public comment on the
comment
amendment.
on the amended item.
Is there any comment on the zoning hearing board meeting? Hearing none.
Okay, then I will go with the motion, taking that motion.
Right.
Okay, and I will make that motion.
All those, second? All those in favor, please signify by saying aye.
Aye.
Ayes have it.
Okay, that's all I have, so you gotta approve of that.
Okay. All those in favor of accepting the infrastructure report, please signify by saying aye.
Aye.
Ayes have it. Next on the item is personnel committee, and that goes back to the.
Okay, personnel, excuse me, got on August 17th. We need the committee is making a recommendation to council to approve switching from WageWorks HRA administration to Benetcon HRA administration, and I will make that motion.
Second. We have a motion and a second. All those in favor, please signify by saying aye.
Aye.
Ayes have it.
Okay, and the other item has to do with, masking policy here at the Borough Hall. Personnel Committee, has, reviewed and is recommending the policy be as follows. All unvaccinated visitors entering Borough Hall must wear a face mask in common areas and meeting spaces, and it is recommended and strongly encouraged that vaccinated visitors entering the Borough Hall also wear a face mask in common areas and meeting spaces. All vaccinated and unvaccinated borough staff shall wear face masks in public areas, common areas, and meeting spaces. Staff members may remove their face masks when completely alone within their office or workspace, when taking a drink, or when eating their lunch in the break room. Special face mask instructions will be given for the receptionist area, and face masks will be provided if requested. And I'll make that motion.
Do we have a second? Second. We have a motion and a second. All those in favor, please signify by saying aye.
Aye.
Ayes have it.
Okay, and that's all that I have.
All right. All those in favor of accepting the Personnel Committee's report, please signify by saying aye.
Aye.
Ayes got it. Item.
That was gonna be on the.
That's just going on with it. Borough Manager's report, sorry. Next item is the Recreation Board, Steve.
Okay, the rec board met August 17th. Obviously, a lot of the summer, or all the summer events are now wrapped up. Couple things of note on the report. We've had 2 bike racks that were purchased and installed. We had some repairs to Old Man Echo Bridge going on. I believe they're still going on. Is that a fair statement?
Yes.
Old Man Echo, yeah, okay. So we also would like to, we're gonna be sending out recreation surveys to see what the residents liked of the pool and playgrounds moving forward, maybe get some ideas for next year. That all being said, we realize that the pool especially is gonna be in need of some work, so the committee has made a recommendation to council to authorize Borough Engineer Jim McCarthy, along with the input of Borough Public Works Committee and Borough Works employee Kent Robinson, to analyze the current condition of the pool and pool facilities and develop a plan of action to remediate and any findings. So, I'll make that motion, that we go ahead and do that.
We have a motion, do we have a second? Second. Your motion
We
is
have some
second.
discussion on that.
Certainly, go ahead.
How about, I went there at the beginning of the season, and the pool looked great to me. What needs to be done there?
Like coating around the baby pool, cracked concrete, just a lot of cosmetic stuff, a lot of stuff that if we, at least don't look at it now, it'll be, might cost us a whole lot of money later. So it's just more, excuse me, preventative maintenance.
Yeah, good all year.
Good.
Okay. Moving on,
Wait a minute.
oh, sorry.
Yeah.
We're gonna vote on
We have
that.
a motion and a second. All those in favor, please signify by saying aye.
Aye.
Ayes have it. Go ahead, Steve.
I'll touch on that piece of because that's going to be an adjustment. There's also some discussion, I know at a previous council meeting, but the rec board is recommending the council to reconsider developing a policy to have the playground closed during playground hours to ensure the safety of both the children attending the playground and the leaders responsible for those children. I'll make that motion.
We have a motion. Do we have a second? Second. We have a motion and a second.
Now, what, yeah, what
Allowed
is
to comment on that?
Yeah, go ahead.
So basically, what I think we're trying to get at is, we have to be able to monitor people who are using the playground while the playground is in place. There's no good answer. If you want to put a 16-year-old person in charge of who's allowed, who's not allowed, but we do have, I think at some point, if you've gone to, I've been at the playground with my children over there, and you get a whole bunch of unruly characters playing basketball, potentially, I'm not picking on basketball players, but, sometimes it gets a little out of hand, so I think we need to at least come up with some guidance for those people. I'm not saying we have to technically make a policy, that would be up to us.
I think I can correct.
Yeah, I have a hard time with residents' children when you go down to the playground and turned away.
Me too.
That, I got a problem with that.
Well, we're just moving, we're just asking to have a discussion about it. Okay. So, did anybody second it?
We have a motion. John, and a second. All those in favor, please signify by saying aye.
Aye.
Opposed?
Nay.
Ayes have it.
Okay. As far as new business, some people replacing, people in the rec board, so, we have a recommendation to council to appoint Mike Fitzgerald to the rec board. And the rec board is making that recommendation to council, so I will also.
Second. Second. Good choice for the right board, Mike.
Great choice.
Great choice for Mike. All those in favor, please signify by saying aye.
Aye.
Ayes have it.
Okay, along with that, we made a recommendation to council to appoint, I practice this name, I'm screwing up, Piali Cole, Edward Isidore, and Rick Weinhofer as alternates to the rec board, and I'll make that recommendation.
Second.
Second.
All those in favor, please signify by saying aye.
Aye.
Ayes have it.
All right, and then, the rec board was presented with the phases of the Stone House recommendation, so phases 1 through 4 of the ADA path, handrail, stair recommendations of the Stone House master plan study. The rec board is in favor of that, so they're asking me to submit that to council, so I'll make the recommendation that we do approve phases 1 through 4 of the ADA path, handrail, stair recommendations of the Stone House master plan.
Second. Second. We have a motion and a second.
Does that include
Question?
all the things on that list,
Yes.
including?
Every committee has gotten the same presentation that infrastructure got.
Just as a discussion point, I'm opposed to the parking facilities at the top. I don't like that arrangement. I don't know if anything was officially ever changed with that.
I mean, we had the discussion with the rec board that there was the possibility of doing, 20 plus slanted parking
20
spaces.
20 handicap spaces.
No, just parking spaces in general.
Oh. Even so, at the top on Parkside Drive North,
Yes.
and I'm opposed to that. I think that detracts from the building's historical look. There's plenty of place to park up there, there's plenty of place to park over on Parkside Drive South. And I think I just think it'll detract from it.
Anybody else have any comments on that?
I thought it was changed in Niagara Park.
That's an option. I mean, the overall plan needs to come back to the infrastructure committee, which it will in 2 weeks, for the infrastructure committee to make a final decision to pass back to council.
So approving this doesn't authorize going forward to the project.
No.
It just gives you,
So it
the
gives-
rec board is saying we like it.
Infrastructure asked me to take it to Park and Shade and the rec board.
So
This is not building a new parking lot on the property itself.
No.
Okay, we're not doing that.
I mean, we're not doing anything officially because council hasn't authorized it.
The drawings are showing a parking lot now on the Stone House property
That-
instead of using street parking.
That was the first option that was originally presented. After feedback from the infrastructure committee that they did not like that option, and Dan's suggestion to do slanted parking on Parkside Drive North, Arcterra gave us a cost estimate to go with the slanted parking and an approximate number of spaces we could get in. I have not had them revise the plan to show that because there's been no formal action taken by a committee to approve that.
We propose like slanted parking on both sides?
No, just on the south side of Parkside Drive North.
So you're committed, I can see that being an issue though, if somebody's backing out and they wanna head west, that could be a little tricky for them, if they're parked this way,
It's a parking
To go.
lot.
difficult if you're doing any on-street parking, whether you're doing diagonal or parallel, you can only go the direction I travel
Well,
in.
usually you just go the direction your car is headed in.
Well, yeah.
But if you're just diagonal,
Well, this motion just kicks it over to infrastructure, right?
Yeah,
So,
okay,
that's
yeah,
where it
I'll go along with that,
belongs,
yeah.
move it over to infrastructure.
you just
Bring
say
it
that.
back.
Well, that's, yeah, and kind of like what you see down the shore. If I'm thinking correctly.
Yeah.
We're gonna send this back, this is going back to infrastructure.
All right.
Okay, we have a motion, we have a second. All those in favor, please signify by saying aye.
Aye.
With the caveat, this is going back in the future, further discussion of infrastructure.
Okay. I have
Final
to,
discussion. Okay,
I have to make a motion to amend the rec board committee minutes, meetings, votes. Is that how we do it?
Amending the agenda.
Amending the agenda, sorry, this is my first meeting since I did that.
do we have a second?
Second.
All those in favor, please signify by saying aye.
Oh, I gotta tell you all the different ones? All right.
Okay, go
All
ahead.
right, so, first one is that, the rec board, is asking to submit the, approval of submission for a bike helmet grant. And what it basically does is, we get $1,000 from the Reading Hospital Trauma Center, and it gets us about 50 bike helmets that we give out to the residents. So the rec board would like to ask council to approve that, so I'll make that recommendation.
Second?
Second.
So this is the motion to amend the agenda to add that item.
Sorry. Do I have to do a different, do I have to amend the edits on each one of these?
Yeah.
Perfect, okay.
Okay, we have a motion and a second on the helmet issue. All those in favor, please signify by saying aye.
Aye.
Ayes have it. Next.
Now we need for public comment.
Public comment. Anybody have any comment about the helmet issue? Grant.
And if there's no public comment, now you can have a motion to approve the helmet grant application.
So moved.
Second. All those in favor, please signify by saying aye.
Aye.
Oh, these rules are.
And, there were some, this is all, yeah, we don't have to worry about this. One other thing that was discussed at the meeting was looking into a, we just refer to as an all-inclusive playground. And we're just gonna ask that we continue to look into that, to get some costs, plans made, and all that kind of good stuff. So that's just some comment, we don't need to do anything like that. So there ends the rec board with the question of, do I need to get approval to get the rec board meeting date changed?
It's already been advertised. So,
Hey, the rec board meeting.
Well, it's been advertised, but it's a change in the advertising.
Yeah, so the rec board is proposing changing the September meeting to, September 28th. Do we need anything on that?
Well, the council sets the meeting schedules. Anyway, so I think council should approve the schedule.
So do I have to amend the agenda to do that? I make a motion to amend the agenda of the rec board to include change dates of the rec board meeting for the month of September.
Second?
Yes, I did, just to add it to the agenda.
All those in favor, please signify by saying aye.
Aye.
Any public comment on that motion? Okay.
Okay.
Now, motion to approve the meeting change.
Now we have to make the motion.
I'd like to make a motion that we change the meeting from its regular scheduled date to September 28th, 2021, here at Borough Hall.
All those in favor, please signify by saying aye. Ayes have it.
Tom, if I may, for the folks in attendance this evening, the governor and Harrisburg changed the rules on how agendas are developed and presented. effective the 1st of September. We are admittedly still learning the new rules, so we actually do know what we're doing. It's just, it's a little cumbersome right now, but we'll get it.
Yeah.
Trying to get
Yeah, right. All those in favor of accepting the rec board report, please signify by saying aye. Ayes have it. Economic development, John.
Well, we had a request for, and maybe Steve or Pete can weigh in on this, for a request for a billboard on North Wyomissing Boulevard interchange, and they need some relief from PennDOT, which they've gotten before, and it could net the borough $60,000 to $90,000 a year, and there's no residents will be affected. $60,000 to $90,000 a year found money is a good thing for the borough, and I guess the procedure is here. Do we need to have a motion to allow them to go to PennDOT to get the relief they're looking for?
Well, we're gonna need, that will be a condition of the lease, that they go to PennDOT and get any permits that are necessary for them to do. So they need an approved lease from the borough before they can go to PennDOT. So, we don't have a final version of the lease today.
And your efforts to amend the term and the escalation of the lease, how's that coming along?
We haven't resolved that yet.
I think at economic, we authorized Chris to go back and re-look at the lease, actually, that's not finance, for Chris to go back and try to renegotiate that lease.
Okay. That's great.
So if you wish, you could make a motion to indicate council's support to seek an acceptable lease agreement. But we don't have a final lease, or you can just wait until next month.
I say we wait till next month.
Good choice. Good choice.
So on the agenda here, it says we can request the Finance and Administration Committee to review the Oak Tree outdoor advertising proposal and lease terms. So we're gonna wait till next month to do that. Okay. So then we also talked about, and some of us were in favor of this, that we could still continue to do Zoom calls in addition to the in-person meetings. So I need to make a motion to amend the agenda to talk about that. Is that correct? I would like to amend the agenda to get a price about from Parks Alliance Zoom calls. And I so move.
A second? Second. All those in favor, please signify by saying aye. Is there any public comment on that motion? Mr. Jade?
Well, I was preparing this for the end of the meeting, but since you've changed the order, I'm gonna have to do it now. So here's the deal. Here I brought some pictures from your past meetings, and I have spoken about this before. You can see here, this was, I don't know, I forgot, one is finance, the other one is whatever. Right? Actually, you can read your party affiliation by the people who wear masks and don't wear masks, but that's another matter. So, I've asked, that's fine, please let me finish. Okay? I don't know, I can assume, right? It's okay? So, here's the situation at the meetings. The public is masked, the borough employees the chief are masked.
What's that got to
This
do
is,
with the Zoom meeting?
this has nothing to do with the Zoom meeting.
It's about
Sit down.
providing,
If you're not gonna
providing.
address the Zoom meeting issue, sit down.
I'm addressing the Zoom meeting issue.
Either address it now or sit down.
Excuse me?
Not the same Zoom meeting issue.
Oh, I apologize. That's what I thought. It wasn't about allowing us to participate through Zoom?
Say it again.
Apologies.
So quick to get on the soapbox.
So now we need a motion to vote on that, right? Okay. I move that we, allow Berks Alliance to give us a quote for Zoom call. Nice,
Second. Motion and a second. All those in favor, please signify by saying aye. Aye. That, thank you very much.
So Chris, the Stoltzfus Preservation Committee situation, that already went to first planning commission, is that correct?
Yes, but we still need consideration by council of a motion to authorize public hearing to be advertised, consideration of enactment of the amendment at the October meeting if you wish to keep it moving forward.
Is that under economic development or planning commission?
It could be under either, since it's been discussed at both. There is a recommendation, I believe, from the planning commission. No, actually, it's not on there. So it could happen through either report at your discretion.
Okay, we'll do it now for economic development. We need to amend the agenda to allow, the Berks County Planning Commission to review our zoning changes to the Stoltzfus property. And I so move.
And do you want to also have council consider advertising the ordinance for a public hearing and consideration of enactment at the October meeting?
And that too.
Second. We have a motion and a second. Any comment on that? Okay, all those in favor, please signify by saying aye.
Aye.
Ayes have it.
So now we need to move to do it.
Yes.
Okay. So we're gonna put the, I move that we put the, Stoltzfus zoning, change for review and advertise for the October meeting, is that correct?
That's good.
I so
We have a second?
Second.
All those in favor, please signify by saying aye.
Aye.
Ayes have it, motion carries.
that's all I have.
Okay.
We
All
talked
those,
about Main Street and Elm Street, Michelle and Mark Radcliffe and West Reading have been working on it. That'll be updated later, I don't think it doesn't require any action.
okay. All those in favor of accepting the Economic Development Committee report, please signify by saying aye.
Aye.
Ayes have it. Thank you, John. Fire and Police Committee, Bill.
Okay, the Fire and Police Committee met on August the 30th. Just one side note that the turnaround response time from dispatch was 2 minutes and 16 seconds, well below the NFPA standards, so that's great. Tower 79 remains out of service at the stadium, awaiting the DEF sensor replacement. And it's supposed to be sometime this month, so keep our fingers crossed. Chief Hackman also reported that we were awarded a FEMA regional grant in the amount of $39,869 to be used towards the purchase of 3 first rescue tools. Due to the timing of this, fire and police have recommended the tools be purchased, be reviewed by finance and administration committee, and considered for the 2022 budget. and that was also accomplished. Like the police department, the Fire and Police Committee has requested the fire department to provide a 5-year vehicle replacement plan to the committee. That's all under fire. Westernburg's ambulance, they have reported responding to 247 calls for service in the month. Narcan, unfortunately, was administered on 2 of those calls. Carrie Fry of Westernburg's made an offer that if we are in need of hand sanitizer, mask, or disinfectant solutions, check with the ambulance administration before purchasing any, and they have received some type of Amazon business donation of those products. Okay, under the police department. Okay, the committee heard from Chief Phillips with regards to a Friends of Reading Hospital 5K fun run and walk and half marathon on October the 17th, 2021, of which will require some road closures, and I will make that motion.
Second. We have a motion and a second. All those in favor, please signify by saying aye.
Aye.
Ayes have it.
Okay, as Chief Phillips had alluded, there was a request from a resident for a no outlet sign on Timberline Drive. That request has been tabled pending a traffic study. So no action needs to be taken at this time on that. Chief Phillips reported that PEMA civil unrest grant was awarded to the police department for overtime reimbursement. The grant is in the amount of $8,615.53. There's a motion to recommend the authorized police chief John Phillips to execute the PEMA civil unrest grant agreement, and I will make that motion.
We have a motion and a second. All those in favor, please signify by saying aye.
Aye.
Ayes have it.
And that is all I have to report.
Any questions from fire and police? All those in favor of accepting that report, please signify by saying aye. Ayes have it. Planning Commission, John.
Well, I was doing my civic duty on jury duty in Philadelphia, and I was not there for the meeting. Do you want to comment on something before I make the motions, Michelle, or is it kind of self-explanatory?
It's pretty self-explanatory.
Okay. So, just for everybody's information, Michelle, how about, so I'm gonna recommend the council deny the Wyomissing Hills.
We have received the letter. I apologize, I should have told you that.
Okay, so we don't need to do
Well,
it.
the motion should just be to accept the extension letter received from the school district for that project. Because we did get the extension letter, but we should have a motion to accept it.
So does that change the agenda or
No,
not?
I think it's the same subject matter.
Yeah, I move we accept that, the receipt of that letter.
Second. Second.
We have a motion and a second. All those in favor, please signify by saying aye.
Aye.
Ayes have it.
Okay. So I'm gonna move, we recommend, the council recommends reaffirm the previous provided reaffirm the previously provided plan submission made by Storage World, and I so move.
We have a second? Second. Motion and a second. All those in favor, please signify by saying aye.
Aye.
Ayes have it.
Hurry up, John, your battery's.
Okay, I recommend council recommend a draft of historic tourism overlay. We did that. That's all I have.
All those in favor of accepting the planning commission report, please signify by saying aye.
Aye.
You know, this picture is not a dollar. Okay, who's got next? Finance and administration, Steve.
We met on September 9th at 8 o'clock. Chief Phillips gave us an overview of the 5-year community replacement plan. He made it very compelling, I'll give him that, so I appreciate that.
Doesn't mean it's gonna get approved.
Right, well,
Would have teared up.
Our cash update, we have $11,686,132, which is a decrease from last year, mostly because we received most of our grants, but we do have a DC, at the end of the month, we had a DCED grant of $517,052 due, so that was helping the cash process, just didn't happen in August. The overall fund balance is $12,117,083, of which $1,341,357 is going to be reserved for expenses that we're already committed to, and that is outlined in the notes. One thing that we need to do is, the committee is making a recommendation to council to rebudget all the 2021 reserves for 2022 due projects planned for 2021, meaning stuff that we can get done in 2021 or didn't get done, and it's going to happen in 2022. So so I'm going to say that is reserve the 2022 due to projects planned for 2021 either not occurring until 2022 or not being paid until 2022.
Second. We have a motion and a second. All those in favor, please signify by saying aye.
Aye.
Ayes have it.
Okay, we already discussed, we don't have to do anything more on the HVAC project, we already moved forward with that, correct?
Yep, ready to go.
The committee is making a recommendation to pay the third quarterly MMO due at the end of September in the amount of, the budget amount of $181,116.75. And I'll go ahead and make that motion.
Second. We have a motion and a second. Michelle, roll call, please.
Councilmember Boucher?
Yes.
Councilmember Woodward?
Yes.
Councilmember Brunner?
Yes.
Councilmember James?
Yes.
Councilmember Bennett?
Yes.
Councilmember Durr?
Yes.
And Council President Moll?
Yes.
Okay, we got some good news on our MMO for 2022. Looks like it's going down by a couple $100,000 to $778,498. And we're gonna look at the long-term projections of that, but that's just some information. To date, we've collected 95.85% of real estate taxes. So gives you an idea of what's being collected. Obviously, this year was different than last. But, you know, 95.85% of the total real estate taxes that we collected. For HVAC system, we don't talk about it. And then we also have, we have to make a motion that council approve the fire department expenditure of the FEMA grant money in the amount of $39,869 for the Hearst rescue tools and other items as applicable within the FEMA grant guidelines. So what we're doing is spending money that we're getting in a grant. So I'll make that motion.
Second.
We have a motion and a second. Michelle, roll call.
Councilmember Boucher?
Yes.
Councilmember Woodward?
Yes.
Councilmember Brunner?
Yes.
Councilmember James?
Yes.
Councilmember Bennett?
Yes.
Councilmember Durr?
Yes.
And Council President Moll?
Yes.
And one last thing for, not for voting, but we looked into some, or Michelle Barrett, sorry, and the team looked into some equipping the council chambers with technology to hold in-person and Zoom meetings also. That bill came to about $50,000, so we're gonna be looking into another bid through another company to try to make that work, but make it work at what I would deem to be a reasonable number for the council. That's all I have for the finance and admin committee.
Thank you. All those in favor of accepting that report, please signify by saying aye.
Aye.
Ayes have it. Borough manager report, Pat.
Good evening. The joint municipal authority meeting minutes are in your packets. The Western First Water Authority meeting minutes from July 12th are also in your packets. Back on 9/2/2021, Tropical Storm Ida paid us a visit. We coordination with the emergency management agency, we did declare a disaster emergency for the tropical storm. The paperwork was filled out, given to Tom as the EMA coordinator, and also forwarded to the county just in case for reimbursement. During the tropical storm Ida, several park trails were damaged due to flooding. Dan and his team have done an excellent job in trying to get those trails back to a walkable environment so they can take care of. Work continues. I'd like to thank our police, fire, maintenance, park staff for all their work during Tropical Storm Ida, and also for our recent September 8, 2021 severe wind event and tree damage. After Tropical Storm Ida with the flooding, the inspection by McCarthy was done of the Stone House pedestrian bridge for safety and found that after the tropical storm, conditions are fine, bridge is fine, and that's clean bill of health. I'd like to request council authorize and approve Jim and Public Works to put a 1999 brush pan and chipper, 11-foot trench box and 2040 floor on the municipal bid.
Put that on the table.
I'll make that motion.
Second.
All those in favor, please signify by saying aye.
Aye.
Ayes have it.
I'll let you fill to the introduction, but I'll need a motion from council to approve the hiring of Sam Bryant to the position of police officer for the August 2nd, 2021 civil service certified list of candidates. Sam, is with us tonight, and his start date with the department 10/4/21. This is approved by council.
Somebody willing to put that one on the floor?
So moved.
Second?
Second.
All those in favor, please signify by saying aye.
Aye.
Ayes have it. Congratulations.
Congratulations.
I just would like to take a moment to introduce Sam to council, so you want to stand up? So this is Sam Bryant, he's going to be starting with us, like I said, October 4th. So we're really excited for him coming on board, and we're looking forward to the start, so.
Welcome, Sam.
Have a great evening.
Thank you, Sam.
We continue to, Melissa continues to update the Borough website, the latest COVID-19 information and vaccination centers. We also are still operating on the Borough's declaration of local disaster regarding COVID-19. That's all I have for my report.
Any questions for the borough manager? All those in favor of accepting his report, please signify by saying aye.
Aye.
Okay, next on the agenda is the treasurer's statement of operation for the general fund, the Bureau of Water, the sewer fund, the Highway 8 fund, the refuse and recycling fund, and the road tax fund. Mr. Portner, you're on.
Thank you, Mr. President. Well,
You're welcome.
the only number I was gonna throw out tonight was 95.85%. Other than the tax will be collected, and Steve mentioned that for me. However,
Yeah.
I will say that compares with 2 years ago. Last year, if you recall, we extended the tax deadline to September. So a lot of people got lost in ways until that time. So back in 2019, we had collected this time 96.3%. So just about at the same level we were in 2015. If I can just direct your attention to the first sheet of the fund summary, to put that kind of number in perspective here. So if you look at general government, the first line across the top here, August year-to-date revenue is $11,458,000 around it. Okay? The budget is $9.2 million, and the budget for the year, all the way over the third from the right, is $13,801,000. So if you look at the August year-to-date revenue and the budget, you think we're $2,200 favorable. Well, as everyone knows, we divide the annual budget by 12, and then that's what the amount of each line item is. So this 9.2 million is really only, 8/12 of your annual budget. So where I'm going with this is, our bottom line looks pretty good so far. So if you look at the budgeted loss for the year, deficit, $1,476,000. So collecting most of our revenue up to this point in time, there'll be very little revenue coming down the pipe as far as tax revenue is concerned. So I would expect those deficits to be more numerous as we go through time each month. So, you know, that's the way it's budgeted, that's just the way it is, so, you know, news at 11, so we'll keep our eye on that. And we do a lot of discussion at the finance committee meeting on that stuff, so. Anyway, that's all I want to point out, thank you very much, that's my report.
Thank you, Greg. All those in favor of accepting the treasurer's report, please signify by saying aye.
Aye.
Ayes have it. Next item of business is the accounts payable, the money we spent last month, the general fund, the Bureau of Water, sewer fund, and the refuse and recycling fund. Are there any questions on the bills? All those in favor of accepting that, please signify by saying aye.
Aye.
Ayes have it. Tax collector's report, Betsy.
Well, if it isn't Mr. Durr stealing my thunder, it's Mr. Bordner, what can I say? I know. All I can say is that in about 2 to 3 weeks, the reminders of all the people who have not paid yet will be going out, and that usually generates a fair amount of business coming in. And then I won't get anything more until December, so spend wisely.
Spend wisely. And all those in favor of accepting the tax collector's report, please signify by saying aye.
Aye.
Got it. In old business, we have a motion, we'll need a motion to adopt ordinance number 1423-2021, an ordinance of the Council of the Borough of Wyomissing to amend the code of ordinances of the Borough of Wyomissing, Chapter 20, entitled Solid Waste, Part 1, entitled Refuse and Recycling, by amending Section 112, entitled General Refuse Regulations, to add a letter O and establish Section 126, entitled Recycling Collection, to establish a time for removal of refuse and recycling containers. Somebody going to put that one on the floor?
I'll make that motion.
We have a second?
Second.
All those in favor, please signify by saying aye.
Aye.
Opposed? Ayes have it, so ordered. Thank you. Okay. Under, is there any new business to be brought before council this evening? Okay, our last item of business on the agenda for this evening is public comment. Is anyone wish to address council this evening from the audience?
I want, but
You can go first.
it's, sure.
Yeah, you can go.
I don't want it. So to finish, the thing is about masks and you wearing masks in these meetings. And what I was trying to show you is, these are, I will provide this to Melissa to attach to the report. And just for the fun of it, this is a Queen of England. She wears masks. I'm sure she has enough servants and enough protection for herself. She could choose not to wear it, right? But why does she do that? And I think it's for the same reason she stayed in London during the Blitz, because she has sworn to protect her subjects, the people that she is there to serve. You are here to serve these people. It's not about you and your freedom to breathe or whatever freedom you think you have. You're here to protect us and the employees in this room. So why is it so hard to wear a mask for you? Why do we have to do this? You're here to protect us. You're here to serve us, not to expose this. This room, as I said before, has zero fresh air intake. That's all the fresh air it comes. All these machines are just mixing the whole thing around. So why do we have to go through this? Is that so hard? And by the way, your party affiliation is public record, but that's another. Thank you.
May I respond?
You can make
Of course
public
you
comment.
may.
Mr. J,
Yes, ma'am.
the worst person you could have shown us was the Queen of England. We
It does
fought them
I know,
to
ma'am.
become free.
It's not about that.
Oh, it most certainly is to me.
I can show
It
you
is
anybody
most
else.
certainly is to me. I don't care what my party affiliation is. I have done all the research
And I
for a year and a
appreciate
half. And mass, I've no
That is
value
right.
whatsoever except to say, I am willing to bow down to anybody who tells me what they
And
think I should
appreciate
do.
that, but I think you shouldn't do this on behalf of other people, just.
No, I'm doing it on the behalf of other people to show
So
them
what
to
are we-
stand up.
Well,
It's
listen.
no longer a debate. You had your time, now it's her time.
That's all I have to say. I feel very strongly, this is the
I
United
appreciate
States of
your
America,
opinion.
we're free, and I ain't masking up.
Good.
Thank you, Betsy.
Might as well start smoking.
Pam, will you please state your name and
Hi, my name's Nicole Wenzel. I live at 1501 Cleveland Ave. I actually wrote something, it's a little lengthy, but when I get a little worked up and nervous, I find the best way for me to express myself is by writing it down. And this is something that's really important to me. So I really want you guys to listen and understand that I have 3 children. There are other people here from Cleveland Ave that also have children and want to be heard. So I'm here today to express my concerns about the trees. I've lived in this borough for the past 25 years. My husband was born and raised here along with my in-laws. One of the greatest things about this town are the amazing trees. You cannot deny the beauty of them, and I'm so grateful that I live here. While these trees provide our town with amazing beauty, they also provide the residents with a tremendous amount of fear. Fear of the cost of damage they can do to our property, but mostly the fear of someone becoming truly injured from them. For years, I've called the borough, expressed my concerns, and listened to my neighbors have the same fears due to these trees growing in size and the weather changes we've experienced over this past decade. We have roughly 20 young children on one side of my block alone who play outside and are exposed to these dangers every day. I understand that so many places do not have proper staffing, people are overworked, and there just isn't enough time in the day for Wyomissing's tree department to handle all the concerns that have come up with these very large trees. This is at no fault to the employees, and I do not feel that these people are slacking or not doing a sufficient job. I do, however, believe that maybe we need to take a step back and re-examine how we distribute funds and what areas in the borough we find most important to address. We are, in fact, the Tree City, USA. If this is how we describe ourselves, then why are there only 3 permanent employees on the tree department here in Wyomissing? This just doesn't seem to be sufficient when our town has over 8,000 trees to maintain. I'm interested in getting some data from the borough and would like the information shared not just with me, but to the rest of our community. So I'm not expecting answers today. I'd like this information to come to me at a later time after you guys are able to put it down into an email and share it out, because this is a true concern for all of us. How has our staffing changed over the years? How many tree department members did we have 10 years ago, 20 years ago, 30 years ago? As these trees get larger and more difficult to maintain, how has our budget changed over time to manage this? Number 2, how much do we spend a year outsourcing the tree trimming? What kind of money are we spending on these trees that are too big for our 3-man crew to handle? Number 3, I understand that sometimes there just isn't enough time out there and there aren't enough people for a job. If this is the reason we are waiting to cut down trees until they show signs of disease or are unsafe for our community, then maybe this needs to be re-examined. Maybe outside resources do need to be utilized more, or our department needs to grow to more than a 3 full-man crew. For a town that prides itself on its natural beauty, we need to do better for our own people. We need to put our residents first and provide them with a feeling of safety and security. Number 4, I question the types of trees being planted in our borough. I know nothing about trees, so I'm just saying, I know nothing about trees. But are these trees that are safe to be growing near homes and cars for 100 years? Why are we allowing these trees in our community to grow 100+ feet without being removed, even if they're healthy? Should they be in our community? Number 5, as I spoke with the tree department supervisor, I learned that as big trees fall and are removed, it creates dangerous exposure when winds pass by causing other trees to become more vulnerable to falling. This was the reason I was given for not removing a large tree near my property. However, now my large tree is the tree that's exposed. How do we protect against this from happening? Is there a system in place of how we remove trees in certain areas to provide us the most protection from this dangerous situation? Number 6. It keeps going, guys. Trees are being marked and taking very long to be removed. That is not at fault of the tree crew. It is that there just, I don't think, is enough service for all these trees. Number 7, these 8,000 trees, are they street land trees, park trees? How is that makeup? How is that, what's that look like? And lastly, why are trees getting marked with a, marked with an X being, taking years to be taken down? For instance, my mom is here. She had a tree that was marked with an X. It took a year for that to be taken down. That X, I imagine, signifies that it's diseased or unhealthy or of some sort. My family and my neighbors, why are these visible trees that are not being removed across the street from me? My family and my neighbors have so many questions. We have anger and we have fear regarding these trees. I was told out of these 8,000, it's very rare occurrence for something tragic to happen, such as a tree falling and damaging a person, a house, or a vehicle. Yet on my block alone, there have been 4, dare I say, tragic incidences on a 1-block radius in the past few months. 1 needed surgery from a tree severely hurting her. 1 teenager I watched narrowly escape a falling branch that was the size of a medium-sized tree. And 2 being my very next door neighbor who lost so much in the past 4 weeks. 4 weeks to the day she lost all of her cars in her garage, probably totaling $500,000 worth of damage. Yeah, insurance covers that, but I just don't think that that's right if it can be prevented. The ordinance, to my knowledge, and maybe I'm wrong with this, the last one that we can find hasn't been updated since 2001, which is 20 years ago. Based on what I found and what I've learned growing up in this community, it's illegal to do anything to these trees because they are borough property. The borough reserves the right to claim any damages for violations, but doesn't state a fine. What is this fine? If I take down the tree, how much will I be fined? Is it worth it? It might be worth it for me. What can we as residents do to protect ourselves? That's important to me. I, for one, have a massive tree that goes much higher than my house and overhangs tremendously that I've asked to be removed for almost a decade. This tree drops branches that are the size of large trees themselves. Nothing is being done to provide us comfort. I sleep in the living room with my oldest during stormy nights because she fears that this tree will fall on her bedroom and kill her. She's 8. I want to feel heard and listened to. Please provide us with this information and do what's right to remove these dangers from our community and plant something more suitable for our neighborhood. Thank you for your time. And while I have you here, there's no stop signs on Cleveland Ave, so if you wouldn't mind throwing one in, I would appreciate it because there are 20 young children on my block. Thank you.
Thank you very much.
Can I just, I'm her neighbor, and I just wanted to come and say that she really is not alone. There's many of us on the block who are worried about the size of the tree, and I also wanted to reiterate what she said, that we really appreciate what Public Works has done for our neighborhood and how beautiful it is, but we really do worry. The trees are 3 houses tall, some of them, and the rains that have been coming in the last several years have been lengthy, and the winds have been stronger, and we've seen more damage happen as the years go by, and the trees aren't getting any smaller. And we really do. We have so many beautiful kids. They run around in little groups, in packs. They're all over the place. It's really old-fashioned and lovely. But we worry about them because we've all seen branches just on a sunny, beautiful day.
Look at the
Boom.
parade.
They're diseased.
Yeah.
It almost killed. Yeah.
There was on our block on the 4th of July. Fortunately, it was after the parade, but a huge branch fell. This is the one that Nicole mentioned, where a young man was fortunately smart enough to run away when he heard the cracking. But if he hadn't, he would have been hit. And if the parade had been going on, it would have been pretty bad. So, and nobody saw that coming.
I'd also like
Did you send that, I'm sorry, did you send that to your
No, this
copy?
is like a 10 o'clock at night, last night thing that I wrote.
It seems
so.
like maybe you need to send that because,
I'd be more than willing.
there's too many points to address, just,
That's fine,
to
I
do
can
it
send
justice, you probably should
It's
send
a
it
good
so that they
writing.
have it in writing.
That's fine.
So that,
If you would send that to the borough manager, please,
Okay,
and we will address this at infrastructure.
thank you, I
Next
appreciate
week.
it.
We will talk
Thank you
about
so much.
some of the things. And I do agree with you on a lot of your points. It would be wonderful to be able to triple the size of the tree gang, because they do a lot of work, and it's not easy to trim these old trees. It's really quite a job if you really watch them when they get up into them. They're high and they're old. And the weather patterns is something that we've discussed, a couple of us, has changed. And it's all been in the last, and it's all climate changes that are going on in the world today, and our trees are gonna suffer. So there are a lot of things for us to think about, and your points are well taken, believe me, and I thank you for your time and your effort to put that together.
Thank you.
Well, anybody else?
May I add something to that?
You had your 5 minutes.
I figured you would say that, but I think it's fair to add a few things. I think I brought the same issue several times, and you were not as nice and candid with my remarks, which were exactly the same discussion about how we handle trees. And it seems that, as I commented before, you treat different people differently. And just to the point.
Mr. Jadek, every problem that we've ever had here, you've always brought up. Thank
Yes,
you
sir,
very much.
and that's true.
It's, you're godsend, so you're.
Thank you very
saving the
much.
world.
But what I'd like to add to the point is that we also have problems with dead trees that we've discussed that are on properties. They're not borough trees, but they are dead. And they are 100 feet tall, and they risk damaging the neighboring properties. And I think we need to take some action to look at them. There's plenty of dead trees if you go around that.
Listen, this borough has enough problems with their own things that we own. We don't have time.
I guess
right
I
now
have to talk to one of these nice women to bring the same problem, because you will listen to it.
The same problem.
It's not
You're
the
asking
same.
about-
No, the same that I brought it up.
This is.
It's about dead trees, sir.
Yeah, it's not on
And
private
if-
property, we do not deal with.
Yes, you do, because it endangers the other properties.
That's enough. That is enough.
We'll just add it to the other 100 problems that you bring to
Good.
every meeting.
Well,
So,
You've
at
beat,
least
you've
they-
Thank you
beat
very
this
much.
dead horse a lot.
Jesus.
With all your other ones.
Anyone else has anything for council? Hearing none, I'll entertain a motion to adjourn. Thank you.
We already